I lost my fourth family member.
Very friendly, nice people, especially hardworking.
Nobody really knows what really happened.
His brother and 3 other family members were killed in this week's grisly Markham murders. Now a community has come together to support him as they struggle to understand why this happened. The man charged in the murders, 23-year-old Menha Zaman, making a brief court appearance today around the same time as a prayer service was getting underway for his grandmother, sister, mother, and father. Angelina King joins us outside the Scarborough Mosque where the funerals took place. Angelina, a large show of support there for this family.
Yeah, the amount of love and support shown to this family today has just been incredible. Hundreds of people were here today to pay their respects. The parking lot right next to the mosque, it's quite large, was completely packed with people. There wasn't even enough room in the prayer room for everybody, and it's that kind of support that the family says they're so appreciative of today as they continue to mourn their own family and search for answers. Amid a sea of people, 4 caskets are brought out of a mosque in Scarborough. Inside, the bodies of Manira Zaman and Mamtaz Begum, their daughter, 21-year-old Melissa Zaman, and her grandmother, Firoza Begum. Friends say they were a good family, hardworking and social.
A very gentle, friendly, polite family. I'll miss them. They were too close to us. Like, we used to see them at least 3-4 times in a week.
Mani Ruza's brother says he had a barbecue with the family on Friday and spoke with them on Saturday, but now...
I can't believe it. Last 5 days I just waiting. I called so many times with my cell phone. Maybe he will respond me.
About 500 people packed the mosque to honor the victims and support the family. Not only are they grieving their loved ones, but dealing with the fact that the family's son is accused of being the reason for their pain. 23-year-old Menhas Zaman is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in his family's deaths. Police were called to their home in Markham on Sunday. Online messages sent Saturday night by a user called Menhas says he slaughtered his family. The person said he'd been lying to his family about dropping out of university and had been planning to kill them for years, writing, "I did this because I don't want my parents to feel the shame of having a son like me." Police have not confirmed whether the account belongs to the suspect. The allegations unbelievable to those who knew him, saying he was polite and quiet.
I never see like this any symptom. My nephew.
This family friend says Menhas became more withdrawn recently, but that she's still in shock.
They are normal. They are all normal people. I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened.
Robin Islam says at the end of June, Menhas presented a slideshow at his parents' 25th wedding anniversary and talked about what a great family he has. He says the community is learning from this tragedy. It's created a more open dialogue between children and parents.
So you can save other life. It's nothing like this happen again. It's not only my community. I think whole Canadian they can do. Like, it's just time to get rid of the gap between kids and parents, if there is any.
At the exact same time the funeral was underway and prayers were being offered to the family, Menhas Zaman made his second court appearance, this time via video link from a jail in Lindsay. He was wearing an orange jumpsuit and appeared calm. The whole thing lasted only a couple of minutes, enough time for him to say that he still needs time to find a lawyer, so his case is now scheduled to be back in court next week. Dwight?
Thank you for that, Angelina. Petty crime turned to murder in Brampton last night. Police say a 63-year-old man is dead after he and his son were stabbed after confronting a group of young men who were stealing from cars in their neighborhood.
I can say that we have collected several key pieces of video which will assist homicide investigators. I strongly encourage the people involved to contact legal counsel and to turn yourselves in. I would not suggest that people confront anyone involved in any type of offense like what happened last night. Property can be replaced, lives obviously cannot.
It happened on a residential street near Castlemore and Gorway around 2:30 this morning. Glensbert Oliver and his son confronted a group who were involved in minor property offenses in the neighborhood. An altercation broke out and the two men were stabbed. Oliver died on scene. His 40-year-old son survived and has been released from hospital today. Police have been canvassing the area for video surveillance. The suspects reportedly fled in a dark-colored SUV. And in Oshawa, a community is reeling after 18-year-old Devon Patton was killed in a shooting last night.
When you're with someone just a few days ago and you're with them, the happiness and the brightness, the shine in their eye that you see, the little twinkle of them, their soul, and then all you have left is just a body bag just covered with the tarp. It's a little bit difficult. It's nothing ever easy, and it's not something that you can take away. And it's going to be hard on the community here and everyone else, but eventually it will get better, and I don't think Devon would want us to hate or be angry. I think he'd want everyone to be happy and enjoy life and be as happy as he was and as genuine as he was and as kind to others that he was.
Police were called to a townhouse complex on Pentland Street near Taunton and Ritson just before midnight. When officers arrived, they found Patton suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Multiple suspects were seen fleeing the area. Anyone with information is asked to contact Durham Police. Homicide. And a shooting in Markham last night left a man dead and a woman fighting for her life in hospital. Police looking for dashcam video after the shooter sped off on a motorcycle. Linda Ward has more.
It was around 11 o'clock last night at the Hey Noodles restaurant here at this plaza at Highway 7 near McCowan. When shots rang out, this restaurant was still open. There were people inside who heard the shots. You can see the number of vehicles left in the parking lot here. All of these people would have been here at the time of the shooting. An employee who works in the restaurant tells us they heard the shots and huddled in the kitchen. Now, he saw the surveillance camera footage, and he says what happened is two people, a man and a woman, pulled into the parking lot here. They got out of their car, and within 30 to 45 seconds, he says someone approached and shot them. The man was killed here at the scene. The woman is now in hospital in critical condition. Here's York Regional Police Constable Laura Nicole.
We do believe that that there may have been an element of this being targeted, but until we have it determined who these people are, we don't know why or if they were the intended target.
Now, police won't say how many shots were fired, but I can tell you there are bullet holes in the wall of this Mazda dealership over here, and that has business owners in this plaza here concerned.
Very quiet place, no trouble at all.
It's a very, very safe plaza. The neighborhood is very safe. All the neighbors here never had any problems.
That man had just closed up his carpet shop here for the night when security footage shows a motorcycle parking right outside of his shop just moments before the shooting happened. Police believe that's the suspect that they're looking for. They say that motorcycle fled at a high speed and went westbound on Highway 7. They're asking anyone with dash cam footage of the incident to contact them. Linda Ward, CBC News, Markham.
It's the long weekend, and that means changes to the price at the pumps. But this year, it's not the change we usually get. Why prices are actually going down, coming up. The draw for this year's Rogers Cup has been announced, and two Canadians have found themselves up against each other in the very first round, Jeannie Bouchard and Bianca Andreescu.
That's a shocker. That basically the only two Canadians in the draw. We know each other very well. We've practiced many times together, so I have no doubt it's going to be a tough draw, and I'm sure there's going to be a huge crowd that night.
Yeah, it shocked me too on Andreescu. The Canadian pair will play Tuesday night at the Aviva Center at York University. Bouchard, once ranked 5th in the world, has won just 2 matches this year. Andreescu is currently ranked 26th, but has played just 1 match since March due to a shoulder injury. And earlier, the young tennis star hit the court with some kids from the Doug Philpott Inner City Tennis Camp. Alicia's son was there.
You must be excited for our VIP tennis players who are arriving. How are you feeling? I feel like great. Like I watched them for like a while, so I'm so excited to meet them. Yeah.
What would you like to, maybe you get a chance to chat with Bianca. What do you want to talk to her about, or what do you want to ask her?
I'd say I love her, and then I'll be like, I'd like some tips how to play like better.
I love it, really. One of my dreams is to be able to be an inspiration for the younger crowd or even just anyone, and I think I'm slowly starting to do that, and which I really enjoy.
I love how she like smashes the ball and like how she like hits back like pretty easily.
What would you say the best part about playing tennis is?
We learn about sportsmanship, respect, learn different character traits, and yeah, and also there's this Friday where we get freezies.
So what's it like having these two phenoms behind you?
Oh, it feels kind of weird because I'm not used to all these stars. It's just that it's amazing how they could play at such a good level. Like, I want to achieve that one day, so I'm just starstruck, that's all.
The talent. It's amazing. Nice to meet you. Have so much fun.
Very cool day for those kids, and the festivities don't stop there for the city this weekend. The big one is, of course, the Toronto Caribbean Carnival, and starting Saturday until Sunday morning, Lakeshore Boulevard West will be closed in both directions from Bathurst to Colborne Lodge, along with both entry ramps at Jameson onto the Gardiner, the British Columbia entry ramp to eastbound Gardiner, and the westbound Gardiner Expressway to Dunn Avenue exit ramp. Now, GO Transit commuters should expect delays on the Hamilton QEW Express service, the Milton train and the Georgetown train, and the TTC will be detouring streetcars in the area as well. You might think a long weekend automatically equals a hike in the price of gas. Well, not this time around. Turns out you can actually expect a bit of a relief starting tonight. As Stephanie Skandaris explains, you can thank Donald Trump.
If you've been feeling the pinch at the pump, get ready for some good news. Your long weekend drive is about to get cheaper, according to the experts.
You're going to see a drop of at midnight tonight. It's going to go down 4 cents, an astronomical drop. So much for the theory that prices go up on long weekends. It's going right down the dumper tomorrow morning.
It's welcome news for anyone planning to get out of town this weekend.
That's awesome. We actually just walked today because we've been filling up our tank frequently, and I'm like, okay, now it's time, to at least like save some money.
I think that's fantastic, but it needs to go down lower.
Yeah?
Yeah, gas prices are too expensive.
But don't blame that on Canadian holidays. McKnight says Canadian gas prices are essentially made in the United States. And right now, there's a huge X factor, U.S. President Donald Trump.
If you can tell me what Mr. Trump is going to say in the next hour, just let me know. Because that's what's driving prices up and down now, his mood swings.
Yesterday, Trump ramped up pressure on China to reach a trade deal, tweeting that on September 1st, he'll impose 10% tariffs on the $300 billion in Chinese imports he hasn't already taxed.
That was interpreted as being that's going to drop demand for crude oil, and that means a drop in demand for gasoline, so the prices went down.
And at least that's in drivers' favor for now.
If you are going to take advantage of the drop, you might want to do it soon. Roger McKnight predicts gas prices will go up by about a cent on Sunday. Stephanie Skandaris, CBC News, Toronto.
Gas prices going down, sunshine and temps coming up. Sounds like a great long weekend to me, Jeff.
Perfect combo to make the great escape out of this city, Dwight. So let's show you what's going on right now. If you're about to hit the road, sitting at 26, we made it to 27. That's bang on average for this time of the year. Factor in the humidex, just like the past few nights, nothing really to speak of. Very comfortable out there, picture perfect conditions. Now, if you are making your way to cottage country, it's going to be a cloudy start to your Saturday. We've got a cold front digging across, so as we head toward Parry Sound, the Muskokas and the Kawarthas may even see a shower through the mid-morning afternoon. And as that cold front starts to dig into the GTA, this is now Saturday afternoon, we're going to see increasing increasing cloud cover. Slight chance that we could see a shower. This model is overdoing it a lot, I think, as we get towards Saturday at 6 o'clock, just as the Carnival parade is ending. But again, I do think that Saturday is going to stay dry. Speaking of Carnival, there we go, 30. It's going to feel about 33. Bit of a sneak peek there, Dwight, at the holiday long weekend forecast. Coming up in just a bit, we'll go over the details for cottage country and what folks can expect there.
Even cottage country feeling like the Caribbean this weekend. Thank you, Jeff.
See you in a bit.
Now, with everything that's going on in this city, this event might go unnoticed, but some big names are in Toronto for the first ever Athlete Tech Summit. And as Natalie Nanowski explains, it's bridging the gap between top athletes and top innovators.
When you think of NBA superstars, your mind doesn't automatically make the link to tech and innovation. But one Toronto man made that match after he realized that these athletes want to expand their empires off the court.
In my day job at Rose Management, we work with athletes. So constantly in conversations with these guys, hanging with these guys and girls, working on projects with them. So I hear a lot of the conversations. They're always talking about what's next, what's new.
For Osei, the idea of hosting a two-day summit where athletes mingle with innovators was solidified when NBA player Steph Curry invested in Snap Travel. That's a Toronto-based hotel booking app.
Steph has a huge global platform that made it really easy for us to get the name out, build a lot of brand legitimacy, while at the same time, having someone like that attached to the company can actually build out different verticals within sports, within travel.
Presenters at this year's conference are hoping to have the same type of luck. No word yet if their pitches worked.
For example, we have here hempcrete. So basically it's an eco-friendly alternative to regular concrete. And it's actually 3 times stronger than regular concrete. It's fire resistant, overall just better for the environment.
We're using wearable data right now from the Fitbit, but we're working on Apple Watch as well. We're using that data to help predict whether or not you're going to become sick in the future.
What kind of sick? Hundreds of people attended the two-day event, including some Toronto Raptors and some Houston Rockets. Next year, organizers hope it's going to be twice the size. Natalie Nanowski, CBC News, Toronto.
We were using some of his college money. It was money well spent.
She says Ontario's autism funding plan is so broken, she took her child to the States for early intervention. We'll bring you that story after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
In New York, a judge is recommending the firing of a police officer accused of fatally choking an unarmed black man back in 2014. The police department has now suspended the officer pending a final decision from the police commissioner. The officer put Eric Garner in a chokehold during an arrest. Garner had been accused of selling untaxed cigarettes. Stephen D'Souza is in New York with more on today's decision and the reaction.
It's been 5 years since Eric Garner died at the hands of New York City police during an arrest, and now an internal New York City police judge is recommending that the officer who put Garner in a chokehold, Daniel Pantaleo, be fired for his actions. Garner's final words, "I can't breathe," really ignited the Black Lives Matter movement here in New York City and became a rallying cry for protesters across the country who are upset with police brutality. Now, this recommendation comes after an internal NYPD hearing and is just that, a recommendation. The final decision now rests with the New York City Police Commissioner, James O'Neill. The NYPD today announced that Pantaleo has been suspended while his lawyers appeal this recommendation. And so a decision on his potential firing will come in the next few weeks. Now, New York City's Mayor, Bill de Blasio, has faced a lot of criticism for his handling of the situation. He spoke earlier and did not address the recommendation directly, but did say that he's happy that a fair and impartial hearing took place.
And it's the first time we've seen a decision. I want to remind everyone, over 5 years, District Attorney did not bring an indictment, therefore there was no trial. Justice Department did not bring an indictment, therefore there was no trial. For the first time, there was a trial, a fair and impartial trial, and a result.
As the mayor mentioned, it was only last month that the Justice Department concluded its 5-year investigation into this incident, deciding that they were not going to lay federal charges against Daniel Pantaleo. So the ball is in the court of the NYPD commissioner, and he has a difficult decision to make because the police union blasted today's recommendation, saying that the decision sends a message to every cop that they are expendable and cannot expect any support from the city that they protect. Now, as for Garner's family, they've been fighting for 5 years to get some form of accountability. And today, one of his daughters spoke to the media. Here's what she had to say.
This has been a long battle. 5 years, too long. And finally, somebody has said that there's some information that this cop has done something wrong. We've waited 5 years. CCRB has made the recommendation. Commissioner O'Neill, fire Pantaleo. That's all we asking.
The family says their battle is far from over. They want to see a federal law banning chokeholds by police officers. They also want to see accountability from every officer who was on scene the day that Eric Garner died. A decision in Officer Pantaleo's case is expected later this month. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
The man who walked away from Cam H earlier this week has been found. 45-year-old Anthony Murdoch escaped while on a staff-escorted pass on hospital grounds. He has a history of sex offenses, and police were concerned for public safety. Murdoch was located early this morning in Brampton and returned to Toronto. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer has unveiled his policy on federal contributions to health and social services. He says Canadians can count on stable and predictable funding if he wins the next election.
I sent a letter to all premiers across Canada, committing to maintaining and increasing both the Canada Health Transfer and the Canada Social Transfer when I become Prime Minister in October. And that is why today I am putting that commitment in writing for all Canadians.
Scheer made the announcement at Mount Sinai in Toronto. He says his government would guarantee the provinces an increase of at least 3% each year. Finance Minister Bill Morneau responded to Scheer in a statement saying, "I'm trying to provide certainty to provinces and territories. You have, in fact, created uncertainty. When Canadians hear political leaders say they intend to maintain or increase funding, that is what they expect to see, not cuts to programs and services that Canadians rely on." A mother in Ontario says her son is proof that early intervention for autism works. She took him to the U.S. for treatment when he was just 2 years old. And as Jason Vio reports, she says that decision changed his life.
Who would have thought that we would be playing chess?
At the age of 2, Holly Ralston's son, Garrett Robinson, was diagnosed with autism, moderate to severe on the spectrum. Today, just days away from his 13th birthday, his mom says he's slightly off the spectrum altogether with stronger social skills and communication.
I think I've improved. I think about it that I'm very special.
And his mother attributes that to early intervention. It allowed him to get a quick diagnosis and intensive therapy within about a month, not in Ontario where the family lives, but across the border in the U.S.
We were using some of his college money. It was money well spent. It changed his life.
Around and around you.
This treatment center in the U.S. used by many other kids came at a hefty cost, tens of thousands of dollars. A chunk of that also came from family, friends, and even complete strangers through a fundraiser. In Ontario, he would have waited 2 years for similar treatment.
It's definitely broken when it comes to our children who are diagnosed with autism.
The province is currently revamping its autism program to be more needs-based after outrage and protests over planned changes. But still, no one can say for sure when the wait list, now about 25,000 children, will be cleared.
My staff will often hear me say, I just got off the phone and this is the worst part of my day.
Leslie Hendershot says it's hard putting children on a wait list for autism services, knowing the importance of early intervention. Hi. She's the clinical manager at the Hope Center in Michigan that helped Robinson so much.
By intervening so early, we're changing brain chemistry, essentially, in learning these skills. It's life-changing.
You are my son.
Now Ralston and her son cherish moments like these, singing and playing the ukulele on the couch, believing that things could have been much different had they not taken healthcare into their own hands. Even though Robinson is just heading into grade 8, he's already looking ahead at college to be a plumber. Jason Vio, CBC News, Windsor.
Caribbean Carnival weekend. Can you feel it? Can you hear it in the air? I'm Ali Chiasson reporting live from Pan Alive Steel Band Competition. I'll have more coming up.
Pretty soon, the sounds of steel pans will fill the air as the Pan Alive competition kicks off next hour. It's one of the big events at this weekend's Caribbean Carnival. Alicia Hassan is live for us at Lamport Stadium. And Ali, this competition is always tough, and you had a chance to meet some of the competitors today.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, the music around me already is just fabulous. And the competition hasn't even started yet. So I met one of the family bands today who says they feel like they've got an edge up on the competition, and that's because they're a 20-piece band and it's all family members. So needless to say, they're pretty in sync. Have a listen. Has it been part of your family?
That we've been playing? Oh, so ever since I was born. I was pretty much born into it, really. But yeah, my aunts and uncles, they've all been playing. My mom, they've been playing since they were little kids as well. So yeah, it's kind of like a family thing. So we actually have my aunt who's a drummer for our band. She's a musician here in Toronto here as well. She does a lot of different things also, so she plays the drums. And then my grandfather, he's the arranger for the band. I have my uncle, he plays the soprano with me. My mom plays the bass. I have an aunt that plays the tenor, another one that plays the alto.
What is one of like the first songs that you learned?
Scales. Usually the bigger the skirts are you see here, the lower the instrument is. So that's why mine's the highest and it's the sounds the loudest. This one, most people play chords.
It's really nice, and I think we have, it's my dad's band, Sal's Steel Pan Academy, and it's always had like a family dynamic at its core, and then spreads out, and we just kind of pull people in. Everyone wants to be part of the family, because we're just cool. We're just a big family of crazy people.
Yeah, this is the coolest family I think I've ever met.
It's really nice when you look up and you see your mom. My mom's always beside us on percussion. My dad's always in the front, and yeah, just looking at the family members and then the community family members.
What does it feel like?
Oh, it's so nice.
It's always nice to perform in front of a crowd. The camaraderie also that comes with playing in a band, practicing, making the trip down with everyone. It makes for a nice experience, I find. You know, regardless of however we place, it's mostly just about, you know, spending a month or however long it takes to learn a song, you know, and as a team you learn how to play together. Pan is also another thing that's a part of the carnival thing, so it goes well together this weekend, and it's just a part of the culture package usually that comes with carnival, really.
What a way to kick it off with this amazing music.
Very vibrant, energetic. You know, when you see a lot of groups playing, the members are just dancing, enjoying themselves, and that's what music is about, you know.
So right now we have several of these pan bands rehearsing. It's amazing that they can all sort of keep it coordinated at this time. Right now, I want to bring in Wendy Jones, if I can, from Pan Fantasy. We are so lucky to be in the presence of last year's winner.
Yes.
How are you feeling going into the competition tonight?
I am excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because all the bands are here and we've all been practicing and doing such a wonderful job. I mean, it takes a lot of practice, as you know. And because of that, when we all come together, it's a showcase what we've done. It's a long month, July, and as most of the people in the bands, we rehearse every night, so the 4 to 5 hours. And the end product is today, so we're all excited, girl.
How many people are in Pan Fantasy?
Pan Fantasy has 80 players.
Wow.
And tonight we're missing a few of our frontline players who are on vacation, but we still have a good band. And I'm excited because a lot of the young people came out this year too.
Oh, awesome. So obviously this is a competition, but what is it really all about for everyone here participating?
I want to say, first of all, it's about family. We nurture young people, and one of the goals of the organization is to foster youth leadership skills through the performing arts of music. And our band is made up of a year-round band, and we perform around Toronto, the greater Toronto area, right through the whole year. So it's not a one-time, one-month program for us. The reason for that is that we know that when we started the band, we were all young people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we're really despondent about now that we see is all the violence violence that's going on. And our program was started to keep the young people off the streets.
Yes.
And
Healing through music and
Yes.
having a great time through
Yes.
music.
Yes.
What better way to kick off the Caribbean Carnival? Good luck to you.
thank you so much, and I enjoy it.
Great. Good. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this is kicking off at 7 o'clock. People can still come down. What kind of show are they in for?
They're in for a dynamic show. We're starting out with the young people, the young groups, and moving right until we call them the big bands, you know?
Yes.
The medium-sized bands, actually. Panel Live is about a competition, and they're doing 2 songs tonight, some people, not all the bands. And you know what's going to be exciting? A lot of music to listen to.
It's running till midnight.
It's running till midnight.
So there is still time. Send it back to you, Dwight.
Ali, you have to say hi to Wendy for me because we played together as kids in Jane and Finch, and she's still at it.
Dwight Drummond says hi, Wendy. Hi, Dwight.
Thank you, Ali.
I love Dwight. He's like my brother.
You got it.
Brother.
I know you don't believe me, but I used to play back in the day, you know. I really, Jeff, I could play.
I believe it, Dwight. I know you'll be there tomorrow,
Yes,
as
I
will so many other people. And it's looking like, for the most part, the forecast will cooperate with us. We'll get there in a second. Right now, 26. We made it up to 27. We'll show you the humidex right now across a big chunk of the province. Not really much of a humidex to speak of. The all-important holiday long weekend forecast, it's not starting off on the best note toward cottage country Saturday afternoon. It's a cloudy start, maybe even a few spits of rain, and that's because we've got a cold front punching across. It will make its way to the GTA. This is as we get towards Saturday afternoon. So we're going to look for building cloud cover, and there's a slight chance we may see a light rain shower, about a 30% chance at this point. Those clouds shove out by Saturday evening. The winds will also pick up a bit as well, but it paves the way for a picture-perfect Sunday, picture-perfect Monday as well. And then we've got some rain moving in on Tuesday. I'll show you that in your 5-day forecast. Here's that cottage country forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures in the Kawarthas and the Muskokas will range from 25 to 27. And if we do get that rain, we're not talking a whole lot here, about 1 to 3 millimeters. But something I wanted to put on your radar, a cloudy start to be sure for cottage country, where for the GTA it's a sunny start and then cloud cover toward the afternoon. Low of 17 in the city tonight, 16 for the East End. There we go, 30 degrees, increasing cloud cover throughout the day, humidex of 33 and about a 30% chance of those showers. Look at Sunday, 26. With that cold front punching across, it drops our temperature a bit, but we get right back up there for the holiday Monday, 28. On Simcoe Day, Dwight, feeling 34, and there's the rain on Tuesday, looking like the bulk of the day we'll see rain.
It's all right. We'll be back to work anyway. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Pick a door.
All right, then.
No, that's my door. Pick another door.
What's wrong with you? You know what? You were right. This is your door.
What's the matter? You got a lot of bad guys behind that door?
The team that brought you the Fast and the Furious is back, this time with the spin-off. Hobbs and Shaw garner the fast cars and the street races, but you can still look forward to some high-speed chases and lots of action as Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham team up to take down a bio-threat. Eli will tell us if this action pair is a hit coming up.
Access denied. Access denied.
It's my sister. Family business.
After 8 entries, the Fast and the Furious series has finally reached the spin-off stage. Hobbs and Shaw opening this weekend. It stars Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. Eli Glasner joins us now with his review, but we need a backstory. What's this one all about, Eli? Who's Hobbs and Shaw?
Let me pull you all the way back. Before Hobbs and Shaw came on the scene, there was Vin Diesel and the first Fast and Furious. 2001, right? Like 8 movies ago, and it was originally about street racing, I think. And then they became these elaborate heists. 5 movies, and they think, we need to make this bigger. We need to make this larger. Enter Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So he sticks around, but what's interesting, there was beef between Johnson and Diesel. They didn't mix well together. He actually called him out on Instagram at one point. Really? You look at the last film, they didn't have any scenes together. It got that bad. So now you got Johnson taking his considerable clout and Jason Statham, who became a familiar face, to start a new spin-off. Now, they're still playing the same characters. You got Luke Hobbs as an agent with DSS, which I think means destroy, smash, and sequelize. Statham is Deckard Shaw, mercenary with a military background. So the movie starts off showing off their differences. Shaw in his beautiful suit having an omelet with chives, and then Hobbs in a tank top chugging a glass of raw eggs while reading Nietzsche, just because he's well-rounded, right?
Get it.
So what could bring these two guys together? A sale on head polish? No, it's actually Idris Elba as Brixton, this cyber-enhanced villain who wants to, well, destroy everything. Take a look.
I'm the necessary shock to the system. I am human evolutionary change. Bulletproof. Superhuman.
Who the hell are you?
Bad guy.
You didn't need to say all that stuff. Bad guy, right? I got it. Fine. Put it on the business card. So bad guy wants to get a really bad virus, but Shaw's sister gets in the way. Now it's gonna get complicated. Take a look.
It's my sister. Family business.
When it's the fate of the world, it becomes my business.
This whole thing sounds really dodgy. Look after your sister.
Listen, I'll handle it.
The only way we survive is working together, like a team.
Let's do this.
Vanessa Kirby. You might have seen her in the series The Crown. And talking about royalty, did you spot Helen Mirren?
I was just going to say, is that Helen Mirren in this?
Helen Mirren as the mother of the Shaw clan. So there you go. Just to recap, we got the virus, the bad guy, the sister, and then the big, angry bald guy, slightly smaller bald guy, all trying to save the world. Let the games begin.
You got me with Helen Mirren in there. All right, we're going to get to all the smashy stuff in a minute, but we talked about the chemistry not being there with Diesel. How is the chemistry between Johnson and Statham?
It's great. I mean, they hate each other, so it's a lot of fun for us. Like, what's the opposite of a bromance? That's basically what's happening here. And I'll give you a great example. There's a scene where Shaw's complaining because it's a stealth mission, but it's Dwayne Johnson, right? Like, how do you deal with that? So he's complaining about that, and here's the typical response.
Look at you. I'm trying to save the world, which, for the record, will be my 4th time. Because I'm really good at it.
Now, what's great about this is that when it does come to the action scenes, and as you can see, there's a lot of them, they also use that to show you how these characters relate or don't relate. So, for example, there's a great moment where they're about to invade this high-tech fortress. They both pick a door, and then Shaw, well, he changes his mind. Take a look.
You know what? You were right. This is your door.
What's the matter? You got a lot of bad guys behind that door?
Like, you know, the fact that there's a window between the rooms is ridiculous, but I just love the way he's egging him on, yawning as Shaw slowly slogs his way forward.
I kind of like that. So the big question is, there are a lot of fans of the Fast and Furious franchise. Does this live up to the explosive standards of that?
Right, so Fast and Furious was like the answer to the question of what if Cirque du Soleil was with cars, right? Like, just ridiculous. This, I think, is more about the combat. It's a little more intense, more about the physicality. The director of this craziness is the same guy who worked on John Wick and Deadpool, but I'll show you one of my favorites. It's when they truly go old school. Dwayne Johnson is half Samoan, and they have a showdown at his character's family compound. Very primal. Take a look.
I'm sorry to bring this here, Mama.
Luke, this is your home. You're gonna get one Samoan ass whoopee.
I mean, it is a lot of fun. It was also really important for him. His real mother was there on set as they...
He comes from a famous wrestling family, the Samoans, and then his other half is, of course, Nova Scotia here in Canada. So, with all of this action, does our Rock come out on top? Like, who comes out on top?
For sure. I mean, it's so great that now that he's got his own series, so he's got more screen time, more dialogue, he could just have more fun with the character. Jason Statham is along for the ride, but this is certainly The Rock's. And I'll tell you, who actually kind of loses is Idris Elba. I mean, he can be as charming as anything, but his character is so ridiculous, kind of half cyborg, making speeches about the end of the world, so he can't compete with The Rock and the charisma, but I do guarantee these boys are coming back. 3.5 stars out of 5.
3.5? You know, Idris just married a Canadian, so we kind of like him, too.
No, we like him.
That's it. 3.5.
3.5. Good, dumb fun.
I might have to check this one out. Thank you, Eli.
You're welcome.
3.5.
Oh, yeah.
You liked it?
Okay. What's not to like? The Rock, explosion.
Do you know a few people who have been affected by Lyme disease, but I don't really take any precautions for myself.
It's time even city dwellers started safeguarding themselves against ticks. Right across Canada, they are on the move from the country to the big cities, including here in Toronto. How to protect yourself after the break. They may be incredibly small, but ticks can cause big health issues. The chances of being bitten by the insects are rising across Canada as they move from the country to the city. Christine Birak looks at where they're being found and what you can do to protect yourself.
They're not just crawling around backwoods anymore. Black-legged ticks are now in tall grasses and wooded areas in big cities.
I do know a few people who have been affected by Lyme disease, but I don't really take any precautions for myself.
It's time to start. Rising temperatures are allowing the bloodsuckers to survive through winter and spread Lyme disease in places they couldn't before. The number of confirmed infections has more than doubled from about 1,000 in 2016 to more than 2,000 a year later. Most of those cases were in Nova Scotia, Quebec, parts of Ontario, and Manitoba. Now Lyme disease has also moved into southern Ontario, PEI, and BC.
This is something we want every doctor to understand, that the risk for Lyme disease is increasing in Canada.
Symptoms can include fever, fatigue, and a skin rash that looks like a bullseye. And if you spot a tiny tick latched onto the skin, carefully remove it immediately and go see a doctor.
There's a preventive antibiotic that can be given right away, and that's important. That's an early intervention, and it stops the spread of bacteria in the body.
Left untreated, Lyme disease can cause muscle pain, spread to joints and the heart.
It's like a spider trying to stick in a garden hose, right? Like, there's a lot of force going through there.
That green line is the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. It's clinging to the blood vessel of a mouse.
And it's moving so fast that you can't even see it. Like, it's just a streak of light at most.
Tara Moriarty is part of a larger Canadian Lyme research team. She's looking for ways to disable the bacteria.
Being able to understand this will help us to develop treatments.
A human vaccine for Lyme disease is being tested, but won't be available for at least 3 years.
You'd be sliding this right along your skin, right at the site where the tick is biting.
At this outdoor store, the best advice is prevention. Insect repellent with DEET can keep ticks away. Light-colored clothing can make the insect that's about the size of a poppy to watermelon seed easier to see. And
Sometimes it's helpful to tuck your pants into your socks as well. Not super fashion forward, but it is effective.
And when you get home from places like this, don't just check the dog for ticks. Check yourself. A new threat requires a new routine.
Hello.
Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
He grabbed me by the stomach and kind of pushed me down, dragged me towards a ditch maybe 50 feet, and I tried eye gouging it away, but it didn't really work. And I think it shook.
Coming up after the break, this man's incredible story of how he survived being attacked by a bear. We'll be right back. A man is recovering in hospital after fighting off a grizzly bear. Colin Dowler was riding through backcountry trails when he was knocked off his bike. The bear began to drag him, and that's when his survival instincts kicked in. Tanya Fletcher has his story.
And I was thinking I'm not going to make it. Right? That was, yeah, it was pretty freaking scary.
Colin Dowler's nightmare hit on the eve of his 45th birthday in BC's backcountry. This was the last photo taken of him before he cycled away down a logging road, all alone, or so he thought. That's when he met the bear. As it approached, Dowler reached for a ski pole.
And he was getting really close to me, so I just kind of poked it on his head.
That's when the bear knocked him to the ground.
Kind of grabbed me by the stomach and kind of pushed me down, dragged me towards a ditch, maybe 50 feet, and I tried eye gouging it away, but it didn't really work. And
The thing he remembers most, the sound of teeth against bone.
I was mostly chewing on this thigh, and I was trying to peel its lips back or its mouth back, and it bit me on the arm and bit my foot, and then bit this leg a few times. And
Suddenly, he remembered the knife in his pocket, a gift from his father just 2 weeks earlier.
used both hands to pull underneath the bear to get to that knife, put it in this hand and stabbed the bear in the neck, and it let go of me immediately and was bleeding quite badly. And
He managed to crawl back to his bike in unbearable pain. From there, he rode 7 kilometers to a construction camp where he collapsed. 5 workers quickly came to his aid. His wife says they saved his life.
He definitely wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for them. And I'm just happy that my husband is as stubborn as he is.
His doctors say his sheer determination helped too.
Yes, he had quite serious injuries, and it's surprising he was able to get himself out of that situation as he did, and ride his bike as far as he did.
Here I am now. Yeah, they saved my life.
Simple words of thanks from a man grateful to be alive. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.
Come on, I know you're smiling. Check out these young jiggers. 7-year-old Maya Boyer won 3rd place in the youth jigging contest at the Back to Batoche Festival in Saskatchewan. It's a yearly celebration of Métis people and culture. Maya would kill it at Carnival this weekend with moves like that. The little guy there, he's pretty good too. Oh, that's so cute. All right, we got about 30 seconds, but we got good news for Carnival weekend.
Yeah, not bad. So tonight, Dwight, another beautiful night. Pop open that window. Temperature will dip down to 17. Now, here's the deal for Saturday. It's going to start out with brilliant sunshine, but by the afternoon, increasing cloud cover, slight chance of a shower, 30% chance. I do think it will stay dry.
It was nice working with this week because you got us great weather. We're going to leave you with the sounds of Pan Alive. Have a great long weekend, everybody. Good night.